time they covered anything of Malcolm-Jamal Warner.
I grew up on the #1 television show in the freaking world.
You know, he had that new podcast coming out.
Everyone, welcome to our first episode of Nah, Not All Hood.
How many of these people was promoting that? So, like, he did a whole interview with Keisha Knight Pulliam.
But I think this is probably about to be my favorite
already.
No.
I didn't see anybody talking about that. Not at all. And it's wild because the second that I heard about it, I knew it was wrong. I felt it in my bones. I felt like he had been taken.
Okay, everyone? This tea right here is crazy, so go ahead and have a seat. So, do you recall the terrible drowning death of Malcolm-Jamal? There is a lot more to the tale than what the media is portraying, according to Jaguar Wright. Jaguar, correct, is claiming that some influential people who were following Malcolm allegedly tampered with his drink on the beach and dragged him into the sea. And, you know, it gets even stranger. Malcolm was aware that he was being followed. According to Jaguar, additionally, it appears that his wife has warned him about it in a voice message. Here's the worst part, though. Jaguar believes that because of the voice message, the federal government is now concealing his phone. For background, the news that Malcolm-Jamal had died after allegedly drowning on a beach while on vacation in Costa Rica shocked the entertainment industry and fans. Major news agencies quickly started claiming that Malcolm was at the beach after. The shocking news of his death went viral online, swimming alongside his daughter. And while attempting to save her, he sadly drowned. This is when things start to become a little fishy because many people didn't believe the tale that Malcolm drowned while attempting to save his daughter. Furthermore, it's easy to understand why Malcolm-Jamal wasn't your typical Hollywood star. He was known for being disciplined, calm, and one of the few morally upright men in the field. He followed the rules, didn't cut corners, and wasn't scared to speak up, particularly when it comes to exposing Hollywood's shadowy side and denouncing the goals of men in skirts. Thus the notion that he, of all people, would haphazardly take his kids swimming in a Costa Rican beach that is notorious for its lethal riptides, with little money and volunteer lifeguards. Indeed, that was unpopular with many individuals. Simply put, the maths didn't add up. The Costa Rican Judicial Investigation Department then issued a statement a few days later that reads, "At one point, Mr. Warner was at the beach playing with his daughter. Then he left her out of the water and went into the sea with a friend. The friend was able to escape at that same moment as they were carried away by the current. Mr. Warner, however, was unable to escape and was dragged out by a number of beachgoers. Red Cross personnel treated him, but he was declared dead at the scene." However, this is where the eyebrows are raised even farther. According to a recent statement from Costa Rican officials, other individuals who were already on the beach allegedly dragged Malcolm out of the ocean. Furthermore, it just so happened that 3 tourists who were also doctors were present at the occasion. Here's the twist now. The other men who were on the verge of drowning were apparently saved by them. However, none of them succeeded in saving Malcolm.
Mike Geist helps run a volunteer lifeguard organization here. He says while no lifeguards were on duty that day, Geist's friend, who happens to be a trained lifeguard, was there to surf and discovered Warner unresponsive in the water.
You know, the first thing that they do is they bring him to the surface and give the emergency respirations.
Right there
In the water on the surfboard. And when he didn't respond to that, my friend rapidly took him into the beach and they immediately began CPR.
And as you might imagine, there were many people who were surprised by this whole situation. However, Jaguar Wright quickly entered the conversation and offered her thoughts on the circumstances behind Malcolm-Jamal's passing. "You came with the smoke, sis." Jaguar had questions about everything from the contradicting reports to the strange fact that he was the only one who failed to make it, even though he was extremely fit and well known for being a powerful swimmer. People's perspectives on the entire scenario have changed as a result of what she said. An insider reports that Jaguar Wright is making some grave allegations regarding Malcolm-Jamal's fate, and it's chilling everyone. According to Jaguar, this was more than simply a sad accident. She thinks the beach was the ideal location for things to go down and that Malcolm was not alive. Jaguar claims that Malcolm had no one to watch his back because he was at the beach with his daughter, and his wife remained at the hotel. Jaguar says he was brought into the sea and left to drown after his drink was laced with something that gave him hallucinations. She is adamant that Malcolm was a strong swimmer and in excellent physical condition. Therefore, unless something had been done to him beforehand, he simply could not have drowned. Phew! You guys, Jaguar Wright isn't going to stop there. She is now asserting that Malcolm-Jamal was being watched for a considerable amount of time prior to his passing. She claimed that there had even been breaking at his house. And even if things changed somewhat after he told the police, Malcolm continued to feel as though he was being watched. Jaguar claims that his wife has always supported him because of this. The terrifying portion comes next. Malcolm was on the beach with their daughter the day he passed away, and his wife happened to be in the hotel room. Is it a coincidence? Not in Jaguar's opinion. Furthermore, it doesn't stop there. It is now stated that Jaguar Wright is requesting that Costa Rican police give Malcolm-Jamal's family access to his phone because, get this, after his body and his phone was gone. But his items were returned. In addition, Jaguar asserts that his wife's phone was taken. People are seeking answers as the entire scenario begins to feel more and more like a cover-up. The final voicemail on Malcolm's phone, according to Jaguar Wright, is from his wife alerting him to the presence of some odd faces peering up at their hotel balcony. Jaguar claims that as soon as he noticed something strange, Malcolm's wife sent him a voice message warning him to exercise caution. However, this is where the menace increases. Jaguar claims that it is not merely a coincidence that Malcolm's and his wife's phones vanished. Not at all. She is certain that there was a calculated attempt by certain influential individuals to hide what transpired. She feels that they are slanting the story, publishing contradictory information, and doing everything in their power to ensure that Malcolm's wife never receives justice. And to be honest, it's easy to understand why people are questioning this, given all of these contradictions. Which person wants Malcolm dead, though? And why did they so strongly want him gone? They had to follow him to Costa Rica, where he was going on vacation. Malcolm isn't your typical black actor, though. He's frequently refused to wear the dress, protested against humiliation rituals of any kind, and made the decision to continue working in Hollywood on his own terms.
You don't necessarily want to be a black boy. What you want to do is you want to love him so divinely. You want to love him so fiercely that your disappointment will kill him. You want to adore him so much that the last thing he wants to do is disappoint you. Like, that's how the album opens. So,
Then, not to be overlooked is his podcast, Not All Hoods, in which he was candid. Malcolm frequently voiced his disapproval of Hollywood and the media's tendency to repeatedly recycle harmful stereotypes and place all black people in one outdated box.
And the reason for the title is combating the narrative of black life, black culture that the media focuses on. And
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes, because they're so varied in terms of our perspectives and our opinions and our ways of life, and we wanted to be able to have a place where we can talk.
Malcolm also made some very valid points about contemporary hip-hop. He was outspoken in his criticism of the genre's toxic and destructive nature, pointing out its lack of emotional accountability, glorification of violence, and misogyny.
Hip-hop is predicated upon being anti-black. The messages in hip-hop that get the exposure are misogyny, murder, and disrespect of fellow black people.
He had no intention of hatred. He was advocating for the community to improve, for growth, and for healing. The major record labels, of course, seek to bury that kind of message. Because, let's be honest, they profit greatly from cultural disarray, dysfunction, and division. Jaguar Wright is revealing the cover-up surrounding Malcolm-Jamal's death. Had followers chatting and commenting, "Who is it?" From the start, I didn't believe the hogwash that he drowned. I believe that someone threw him into that water PvP after doing something to him. He was receiving threats and sporadic phone calls, which was kind of sick. Malcolm X, after whom he was named, experienced the same thing prior to his murder. They appear to have a playbook. They learned from the murderous illness of Malcolm X. Malcolm might have been made unconscious by a shot if the man who entered the sea with him had been a doctor. He therefore couldn't swim to his rescue. Do you believe that Malcolm-Jamal drowned, as Jaguar Wright claims, or do you believe that someone else kept him alive and staged his drowning? Please share your thoughts in the comments section and watch the following video.